Hello, welcome to the strategic walkthrough of the investment model, a foundational tool for every entrepreneur. We are presenting the investment model and its three examples to study how businesses are using the investment model. So, what exactly is an investment model? It is a framework to determine how much cash is needed to start and sustain a venture, and it focuses on two key aspects: startup capital needs and survival phase funding. The startup capital needs includes the funds required to launch, plus a cushion for transitions, and survival phase funding is the cash to sustain operations until consistent break-even cash flow is achieved, and the goal is to reduce upfront investment, retain more ownership, and minimize sleepless nights for entrepreneurs. It does not cover tangible assets. It includes software development, patent and legal costs, customer acquisitions, and sales expenses. Further given are the key questions for building your investment model, and it consists of pre-launch phase and post-launch phase, and so some of the questions are mentioned here, which the business needs to ask itself. Now let's delve into one of the most iconic business case studies in tech history, how Skype reinvented the telecom industry and outperformed its traditional players like Monarch. Let's start with the core idea. Skype wasn't just another app, it was a revolution. Founded by Nicholas Zenstrom and Janus Friss, the minds behind Kaza. Skype used peer-to-peer technology to let people make free voice calls over the internet. No telecom towers, no expensive infrastructure, just smart software and a bold vision. Meanwhile, Bunaj followed the traditional telecom path, building costly infrastructure and charging users for every call. The contrast could not be sharper. Now let's talk numbers. In just 13 months, Skype signed up 7 million users, and guess how much they spent on marketing? Almost nothing. Maybe a few $1,000. Vonage, on the other hand, spent a jaw-dropping $246 million over 4 years to acquire just 1.4 million users. Skype's growth was viral. Users loved the product and shared it. Vonage had to pay for every customer it got. Skype's strategy unfolded in three brilliant phases. Plan A was all about building the base. They offered free Skype to Skype calls using P2P tech. It was simple, powerful, and addictive. Plan B focused on emotional utility. Imagine students in London calling their families in Bangkok just for free. That emotional hook drove massive adoption. And Plan C was monetization. Once they had millions of users, Skype introduced paid features like Skype Out, Skype In, voicemail, and video conferencing. By 2005, 2 million users were paying for premium services. Next is the kicker. Skype operated lean. They started with personal savings and support from Casa users. Their first major funding round was just $5 million compared to that of Bonaz, which raised over $400 million. Skype proved that smart tech strategy beats deep pockets. So what we can learn from this? Lesson 1. Low customer acquisition cost is a superpower. Skype's viral model meant near zero CAC. Lesson 2. Freemium works. If the free product is irresistible. Lesson 3. You don't need massive funding to disrupt the industry. You need insight, timing, and execution. And lesson 4. Disruption is just about rethinking the rules, not just building better tech. So here are some of the entrepreneurial takeaways. If you are building a platform, whether in fintech, sustainable fashion, or any other space, this case is cool. Start lean, design for virality, monetize with empathy, and challenge incumbents with smarter models. Skype didn't outspend Monash, it thought well.
So now let's take an example of a multinational company that effectively uses the investment model principles to grow rapidly and successfully. Uber was the one which has used its investment model. So when Uber launched, it didn't follow the conventional path of investing heavily in physical assets like cars and operating garages. Instead, Uber's founder created a digital platform, a mobile app, and backend system that connected independent drivers with people needing rides. So that's how Uber worked. So these drivers already own their vehicles. So Uber avoided all the massive upfront investment that typically taxi companies face. The asset-light approach meant Uber could enter a new city with surprisingly little cash. The company's main costs were limited to the local regulatory work and the light marketing which they use and tailored their app for the local preferences conceptually. So if a city didn't work out, Uber could quickly withdraw without any significant losses. So this asset-light approach investment really helped Uber to grow, and another key principle was the experimentation and adaptation which they use. So Uber basically started with a small scale launches using each market as a real time test bed. For example, when entering in India, Uber discovered people preferred paying in cash in the initial days rather than going online. So it adapted its system accordingly. In cities where regulation or rider habits called for change, Uber quickly tweaked its offerings, from sometimes even launching special services like auto rickshaw rides in selected countries. So this strategy, testing each market, learning fast, and adapting the new culture of every economy, and keeping burn rates low, let Uber expand rapidly. So only after proving a city's potential would the Uber ramp up investment in marketing and other segments like customer supports and lobbying. So the company kept its risk low, investment low in each market, while giving itself a flexibility to move or in whenever necessary. So just as the investment model in which the Skype preferred, so same was with the Uber. Uber's stage funding approach was crucial as well. So, as in early growth was funded by modest investment, with large funding rounds really coming only as Uber's core ideas proved effective. Then only there was a large core funding. So that kept the founders' control high. The equity was on the higher side in the capital structure rather than that, and they limited the dilution before the business model was shown to work on a global scale. So to sum up, Uber's investment model, I focus mainly on the minimal initial spending and the constant validation of its assumption. So adaptability in local markets and incremental capital infusion, a result justified what Uber wanted. So this allowed Uber to become a multinational giant. So the capital structure and the investment strategy which they hold on, that was the main prominent point which helped them to dominate in most of the economy where they entered. And while